If you're watching this right now, it's not a coincidence. It's because something in your vibrational field emitted exactly the code that this message carries. And from this point on, nothing will be the same again. In the past few days, maybe you felt tired for no reason. Strange anxiety, confused thoughts, like your life's gone off track without explanation. But what no one told you is that these signs are the silent activation of a dangerous law, hidden for millennia, that Thoth left encoded in the invisible fields of reality. A law that, once awakened, starts reprogramming your life based on the vibration you maintain. It's not luck, it's not misfortune, it's frequency. And if you're here, now, it's because your vibration finally matched this truth. Most people will ignore it. They'll think it's just another spiritual video on the internet. But those who stay until the end will understand why this law was hidden, and will discover how to use it to manipulate their own reality with precision before it consumes them without them even noticing. And what's causing this invisible collapse you're feeling is something almost no one notices in time. Man, you are hidden light within matter. Learn to command your vibration, and you will also command the form. You've probably had days when everything seems to be working against you. You wake up late, get irritated by little things, and it feels like the whole universe suddenly turned its back on you. And the weirdest part is that it all happens out of nowhere. There wasn't any specific event, no big tragedy, just a silent drag, like something invisible is pulling your life down, putting weight on everything that should feel light. Conversations get tense, your body feels tired even after sleep, and opportunities seem to vanish before you even get a chance to go after them. Most people call that bad luck. Others say it's Mercury in retrograde or something like that. Some blame the traffic, other people, the world. But the truth is way more subtle and deeper. You're feeling the direct effects of a misaligned vibrational field, a low, silent, but intense frequency, like a reversed magnet that, instead of pulling in good things, starts attracting everything that reinforces your discomfort. What most people don't realize is that this vibration doesn't stay trapped inside you. It spreads, it contaminates, it shapes. Your energy field vibrates like an antenna, and everything around you responds to that signal. People sense something different about you, even if they don't know why. Some pull away. Others, who are vibrating at the same heavy frequency, get closer, and without even noticing, you're surrounded by situations, decisions, and relationships that reflect exactly that low frequency. Your mood shifts. Your choices change. Your thoughts get more negative, which makes you act with less clarity. Small mistakes start piling up. What was simple becomes complicated. What seemed promising turns into a problem. And you enter a quiet cycle, where everything around you starts echoing exactly what's pulsing inside you. It's like reality is listening to your soul's vibration and sending back the same tone. Except that tone is distorted, and the longer you stay in that frequency, the harder it is to notice you're stuck in survival mode, because it starts feeling like the new normal. That heavy feeling becomes routine. Stagnation disguises itself as stability. That lack of motivation hides behind just being tired. But it's not tiredness, it's frequency. And what makes it worse is that the more you try to fix things from the outside in, the more drained you get, because the problem was never out there. What's holding your life back isn't the obvious obstacles. It's the frequency you're using to try to deal with them. Imagine someone trying to swim against a strong current, not realizing they're tied down by invisible chains. It feels like constant effort, but with no real progress. You're moving, but going nowhere. And that kind of vibrational paralysis wears down even the most determined people. The invisible mechanism that's shaping your reality, even without your permission. And it's exactly this silent system that keeps repeating day after day, shaping your reality like a pre-written script. The biggest trap is that it works without you even noticing, and the more you ignore it, the stronger it gets. Because this programming doesn't depend on your will, it doesn't need your permission, it only needs your vibration. And that's when everything starts to make sense. You might wish for peace, love, prosperity. You can repeat mantras, set goals, make plans. But if your vibration is still stuck in heavy patterns, that's what you're going to keep receiving. Because the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're putting out. It's like a vibrational mirror. It reflects what you're being at the deepest level, not what you say out loud. That's exactly why when you're in a state of anxiety, you attract more situations that make you anxious. When you're in scarcity, more expenses, more surprises, more losses show up. Because vibration creates a field, and that field starts to organize reality around the frequency you hold. Life starts to revolve around that field, not because of bad luck, but because of alignment. And here comes something that's been hidden for millennia. A knowledge the ancients understood, but that was coded, concealed, disguised in symbols, rituals, and metaphors. Thoth, the Egyptian master, recorded in ancient texts that reality is mental, that everything vibrates, that the universe responds to the frequency of your being. But this wisdom was discredited, mocked, thrown into the world of fantasy so no one would access this power. But now it's starting to be decoded. And if you're here, it's not a coincidence. It's because you've started to tune in to this truth. Because this law, which once seemed too mystical to be taken seriously, is being rediscovered by people who are waking up from the illusion. The law of vibration isn't a theory. It's subtle technology. It's vibrational engineering. A precise mechanism that controls every aspect of your life, even while you think you're in control. And this is where many people get it wrong. They think it's enough to think positively, keep the mind busy, or practice gratitude now and then. But vibration doesn't respond to the surface. It responds to the root, to what you vibrate when no one's watching, to what you feel when you're alone in the dark, with no one to impress. That's where the field is formed. That's where the command comes from. Vibration is like a hidden code operating below regular consciousness, a code that tunes the frequency of your reality as if you were constantly tuning a radio station. And depending on the station, you hear chaos or clarity, heaviness or lightness, noise or music. Except unlike a radio, you don't turn a knob with your hand. You turn it with your inner state, with the way you feel, think, act, react. And when that code is off, life goes into repeat mode. The same stories come back with different characters. The same challenges reappear with new masks. Because the field keeps broadcasting the same frequency. You change the look of the situations, but the essence stays the same. And this is where many people give up, believing that life is just like that. But it's not. It's just the result of a vibrational field stuck in a loop. This logic isn't abstract. It follows a real, measurable structure based on vibrational consciousness studies that were ignored for centuries. Dr. David Hawkins, an American psychiatrist and researcher, mapped this structure on a logarithmic frequency scale that measures emotional states and their impact on your life. This scale didn't come from guesses or subjective beliefs. It was developed with scientific precision, measuring the effects of human vibration on the consciousness field. And what he revealed changes everything. The scale goes from 0 to 1,000, and there's a critical point where everything shifts. Level 200. Below that, you're vibrating in survival. It's the field of stagnation, emotional pain, and energetic collapse. Shame, guilt, apathy, fear, destructive desire, anger. These are the states that keep life stuck, and the longer you stay in this range, the more the reality around you falls apart. When you're below 200, it doesn't matter what you try to do. Everything takes twice the effort. You might achieve something, but you can't maintain it. Relationships fall apart. Finances vanish. Vital energy drops. The mind spirals into paranoia. Health starts to fail. It's like everything around you is being drained by an invisible force that sucks the life out of whatever it touches. You try to fix things with logic, with action, with trial and error, but none of it works. Because the problem isn't practical, it's vibrational. And there's something even more delicate. Below 200, you become vulnerable to any external energy. Other people's vibes, the news, heavy environments, negative words, everything hits you directly. Your frequency is so unstable that any shift knocks you down. And worse, you start to normalize it. You accept living in a survival field as if it were natural. You learn to live with pain, with anguish, with the feeling that nothing will ever work out. You learn to endure instead of truly live. But there is a turning point, an invisible threshold. And when you cross that point, everything starts to reorganize. The moment your vibration rises above 200 Hz, the field changes. The energy system shifts from survival to creation, and you begin to operate on a different frequency: courage, acceptance, neutrality, reason. These are the first steps of conscious creation. Reality no longer drags you down all the time. You begin to influence the field instead of being influenced by it. And it happens subtly, but powerfully. Situations flow more smoothly. Intuition grows stronger. Synchronicities increase. People who vibrated in scarcity drift away. Others, aligned with this new frequency, start to show up. You feel more centered, more confident, more clear-headed. It's like stepping out of an emotional storm into an open field of possibilities. Above 400, you enter a state of deep, rational clarity. You understand how life works. You start to see beyond appearances. And once you go beyond 500, you access the highest levels of the human field. Unconditional love, joy, peace, compassion. Levels that can't be forced, but that naturally arise when you hold the right frequency. And the most incredible part is that this high vibration doesn't just affect you. It starts to radiate. It lifts the field of those around you. It reorganizes spaces. It inspires. It heals. The vibrational map hidden behind the Kybalion. It's been described for millennia in forgotten texts, coded in metaphors and cryptic phrases. At the center of it, a book emerges as a key piece, the Kybalion. In it, the ancient Hermetic sages recorded one of the most ignored yet most powerful laws of the universe, the law of vibration. But not as a theory, as spiritual technology. The phrase, "nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates," is not philosophy, it's hidden science. It's applied metaphysics. Because everything that exists is energy in motion. Every thought, every emotion, every word you speak, every image you observe, it all vibrates at a certain frequency. And each of those frequencies is shaping your reality in this exact moment. You just don't realize it because most people have been conditioned to believe that reality is only made of solid matter. But matter is only the final result of a vibration that was already happening before. It's like the sound coming out of a speaker. You don't see the wave, but it's there. You don't see the frequency, but it organizes everything. And if your life is full of noise, chaos, or imbalance, it's because the frequency that's generating that reality is out of tune. And this is where the vibrational map left by Thoth becomes so important, camouflaged in the language of the Kybalion. The secret isn't in the words themselves, but in the energetic structure behind them. The Kybalion presents 7 universal laws. But the central point of all of them is contained in this simple statement: everything vibrates. Nothing stands still. That means absolutely everything around you can be transformed, not by brute force, but by vibrational resonance, including you, including your story, including what you believe is impossible. This code is hidden in every aspect of your life. When you feel anger, you enter a frequency that alters your cells, your energy field, your ability to manifest. When you enter deep states of gratitude, your vibration recalibrates almost instantly. The world around you starts to respond, not because it likes you, but because it's the only way it knows how to operate, through resonance. It's like you're a wave transmitter, constantly sending out signals. If you're not aware of it, your field emits by automatic default, and that default is the result of your history, your pain, traumas, memories, beliefs, and repressed emotions. That's why so many people live repetitive lives, because they keep emitting the same signal, even when they try to change things on the outside. The real secret of the law of vibration is this: reality responds to what you are, not what you pretend to be. Your outer appearance doesn't fool the field. The universe doesn't respond to masks. It responds to vibrational coherence. And if there's incoherence between what you think, feel, and live, the field collapses. Things get stuck. Doors don't open. Because the vibration is misaligned with what you want to experience. But here comes the most sensitive part. This law doesn't pick sides. It has no morality. It only responds to what's vibrating. In other words, if you hold on to negative thoughts, judgments, grudges, resentments, the field responds with more experiences that reinforce exactly that. That's why the law of vibration can be your greatest ally, or your biggest saboteur. That's why it was considered dangerous. Because once you know it, you can't outsource the blame anymore. You realize that you're co-creating your reality all the time, even without meaning to, even without noticing. And once that enters your field of awareness, there's no turning back. You either recalibrate your frequency, or you keep feeding the same reality as always. And the most curious part, many try to use this law but don't know how. They try to think positive, repeat scripted affirmations, make wish lists. But all of that without real vibration behind it is just noise. There's no point in memorizing mantras if your field is vibrating in conflict. There's no point in visualizing prosperity if your foundation is rooted in scarcity. You need to learn the real step-by-step of how to shift your frequency in an organic, consistent, and vibrationally coherent way. And that's why you need to learn the practical step-by-step before your field closes again. And maybe the most common mistake of those who discover all this is thinking they need to do something elaborate to change their vibration. But they don't. Real change starts in the invisible. It starts in the pause. It starts when you choose to step out of the internal noise and be silent, even if just for a few seconds. The state of presence is that choice. And it's not something philosophical, it's physiological. It's energetic. It's your system returning to its original alignment. While the mind projects forward or backward, the body always stays here. But most people live disconnected from it. They walk without feeling the ground. They breathe without noticing the air. They speak without feeling the vibration of the words. And that's why the field is fragile. Because it has no grounding, no roots. It's always being carried away by the fear of the future or the chains of the past. But the present is the only frequency where healing happens. When you enter the state of presence, something changes instantly. It's like your internal field opens a silent space where everything starts to reorganize. Thoughts slow down. Breathing deepens. The vibration begins to stabilize. And in that moment, the body becomes a temple. You start to notice signs that used to go unnoticed. The tightness in your chest, the tension in your jaw, the rush with no reason. And just that awareness already begins the process of vibrational transmutation. But this isn't about meditating out of obligation. It's not pretending peace while inside you're at war. The state of presence doesn't require effort. It requires surrender. It's when you don't try to control anything, but you also don't abandon everything. You simply inhabit the now with totality. And when that happens, your field starts to emit a new frequency, a cleaner, more aligned, more truthful vibration. And that vibration is picked up by the universe instantly, because the energy field around you responds way more to what you feel than to what you say. If you feel anger, but say everything's fine, the field picks up the anger. If you feel gratitude, but have no words for it, the field picks up the gratitude. Vibration doesn't depend on verbal language. It operates on a more subtle, deeper level. That's why returning to the present is a high-frequency spiritual technology. It's not an escape. It's a return. And when you return, you realize how far away from yourself you were, how much you were living like a character, how much you were trying to survive without even remembering you existed. Because the mind learned to chase 1,000 things out there, while the body was only asking for one thing: presence. Presence heals because it clears the noise, and noise is what distorts your vibration. When you breathe consciously, when you feel your feet on the ground, when you observe the now without trying to change it, something aligns inside you. It's like the chaos dissolves in silence. It's like the mental storm loses its power. Not because the problems disappear, but because you stop identifying with them. You stop being the problem and start being the space that observes it. And from there, everything starts moving with more flow. Emotions return to the right place. Anxiety loses strength. The mind slows down. The body relaxes. And that state is the portal, because that's where the frequency starts to rise. And the more time you stay consciously in the now, the more your vibration recalibrates, and the more the field around you starts to respond differently. You realize you didn't even need to rush so much, that the solution that seemed impossible was already within reach. You just needed to be present enough to see it. That answers don't come from urgency, but from silence. That signs don't show up in the noise, but in the listening. And that there's no transformation without presence, because it's only when you're here that the field can reorganize around you. And now that you've entered this state, there's a second movement that accelerates this process and transforms the field around you. The vibrational choice that redefines what you manifest. And it's in this state of presence, when the field starts to silently reorganize, that something even more subtle and powerful can be activated: the vibration of gratitude. It doesn't depend on ideal circumstances. It doesn't wait for big achievements. It happens the moment you recognize the miracle of now. The simple fact of breathing, of being here, is already enough reason for the energy to begin expanding. True gratitude isn't forced. It doesn't come from the mind. It rises from a deeper, more honest place. And when it shows up, you feel it. The body warms up, the heart softens, the breath shifts. It's like an invisible lightness begins to occupy the space that used to feel heavy. And the most impressive part, it changes the environment, literally. The vibration of gratitude carries such a high frequency that it affects objects, spaces, and even people who have no idea what's happening. You walk into a room and something shifts. Conflicts ease, tension disappears, words flow more calmly. All of this without saying a thing, just because of what you're vibrating. Because your field, now expanded, starts to silently influence everything around it, and not through force, but through resonance. The invisible responds to what you radiate, not to what you want. And that's why gratitude is so powerful, because it doesn't ask, it gives. It doesn't beg, it acknowledges. And the universe understands this as a clear sign that you're ready to receive more. But this movement needs a next step. Because when your vibration starts to shift, when your field opens up, a rare opportunity appears, the chance to seal this transformation with a conscious vibrational choice. You can be at peace, present, feeling gratitude, but if you don't declare what frequency you want to maintain, the field goes back to molding itself by your old pattern. Because the universe doesn't only respond to what you feel, but also to what you choose. And this is where intention becomes creation. When you truthfully say, "I choose to vibrate in love," you're not just repeating a nice phrase. You're anchoring an energetic signature into your field. You're sketching, with vibration, the new frequency of your life. It's not positive thinking. It's vibrational engineering. The difference between someone who only wishes and someone who manifests lies right here, the clear choice of frequency. You begin to realize you don't need to ask for external things anymore. You don't need to beg for signs or wait for someone to validate your process. You become the channel. The vibration starts to radiate from the inside out, and when that happens, what was stuck starts to open, not because you begged, but because you aligned. Reality doesn't resist vibrational coherence, it bows to it. But heads up, that choice only holds if you understand the responsibility it carries. The frequency that reorganizes your life without forced effort. And this is the point where many people pull back, because realizing that your vibration is a choice, not a side effect of life, requires responsibility. You can no longer blame the environment, other people, the past, or the mood of the day. The frequency you emit doesn't come out of nowhere. It's born from the subtle decisions you repeat every day. How you react, how you think, how you feel, how you feed your emotions, and what you choose to keep in your field. And that's hard to face because it demands honesty. Saying, "I'm like this because of that person," or "my life's stuck because of something outside me," might sound true. But in reality, it's just a hidden way of giving up your own power. Vibration doesn't depend on what happens to you. It depends on what you do with what happens to you. Have you ever noticed how some people go through tough situations and still manage to carry a different kind of light? It's because they're no longer being pulled from the outside in. They're vibrating from the inside out. They've made the decision to take care of their own frequency. And that's exactly what separates people who repeat patterns from those who transform their reality. And when that decision is made firmly, with no turning back, the universe starts responding in a way that feels like magic. But it's not. It's just vibrational math working with precision. What was stuck starts to flow. Connections change. People who used to bring noise naturally drift away. Situations that felt repetitive stop making sense, and you start to be guided, effortlessly, to realities more aligned with what you're vibrating now. That's when you understand what personal magnetism really means. You don't need to chase anymore. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to force situations to prove your worth. Your vibration starts doing that for you, and everything around you imperceptibly starts aligning with this new field you're holding. Opportunities show up, but not in the desperate way most people expect. They come with flow, like the universe was just waiting for you to vibrate at the same frequency as them, because that's what happens. When you're aligned, you don't need to push the river, you flow with it. This is the true state of co-creation. It's not about thinking positively and waiting for miracles. It's about shifting the field and watching how the world responds. And the response always comes, sometimes quietly, sometimes in a radical way, but always in harmony with what you're vibrating. And now you can understand why Thoth coded this teaching in symbols of the invisible, because the human mind, used to control, resists the simple. And this secret is simple but deep. Your vibration is the key. If you made it this far, it's because something inside you already recognized this frequency. Now write in the comments, "I felt the call, and I'm ready." This isn't just a sentence, it's a vibrational anchor. It's how you confirm to the universe that you're aware of what's starting to awaken. And if you want to support the channel more directly and help spread content like this around the world, just go to the first pinned comment. There's a way for you to contribute there. Or if you prefer, you can use the "Thanks a lot" button here on YouTube. Besides supporting, it shows that this message truly resonated with you. And before you leave, a special video has been picked for you to continue this journey of spiritual realignment. It's showing up on your screen now. Click without fear. We'll meet you there. The next key is waiting for you.